Alright, so the new Agent Vyse, she got her teaser trailer released last night, and then we see that Valorant put all of her abilities on Twitter. Shout out to Kiru for posting this on Reddit, because I'm not going on Twitter. So let's go ahead and go over them. So first off, it's going to showcase her ultimate. Very interesting ult. Alright, so as we can see here, it looks like it kind of comes out, let's use Valorant. It looks like to me it's going to be the same type of size as a Breach ult, but instead of rolling out in phases, it just has the whole place like a net, and then as you see it has a bit of a startup, and then it catches the jet. Because as we can see that it goes all the way over here into long, all the way to elbow. I can't see if it goes through ult or not. And then as you can see, it disables her primary fire for about 10 seconds. Now it only disables primary fire, as we can see that all of her abilities still work. We see that her health is untouched, and she can switch to her secondary. So it only disables her primary fire. So this ultimate is going to be really interesting, and I think it's going to force people to start buying secondaries when she has it, which is really nice, encouraging more kind of gunplay outside of like eco rounds. No one really buys secondaries. Maybe a couple shorties here and there, but seeing people buy secondaries because of this ultimate would be really nice. You can also, of course, play like retake, play everyone, go back to Valorant, maybe you all play off-site and kind of try to dodge the ultimate. But I think encouraging more secondary gunplay would be really interesting. Also, I think that for the Vyse player, you definitely want to make sure you're not using this on enemy eco, because it only blocks the primary. So you want to make sure you're actually saving this for an equal buy round, so you don't want to waste it. And then for the defenders, as I said, you want to really think about playing retake or make sure you're buying a secondary. So let's move on to her signature ability. So this is her signature ability, and it looks like it's going to function pretty much a lot like Cypher Cam, but has a flash, right? So you can see her put it on a wall. You see that she can take it back with F. Let's go back and look at that. So as we see, it says pick up, so this is reusable, and so that's why I'm getting like the Cypher Cam vibes, where I can put it on a wall, I can take it back. It can probably be destroyed as well, because like a reusable infinite unbreakable flash would be way too broken. So it's probably destroyable, so it probably has the same timer as a Cypher Cam. So after taking it, you probably have like a 15-second cooldown, and if you get destroyed, it's probably like 45 seconds. It looks like also there is a second, as you see here, you have to actually activate it manually, so it's not like a trip, so you actually have to use this button. I do think it's very strong, however, so let's go over to Ascent and maybe throw it back up on this wall. And so it has the attackers come out, and you have your teammate maybe like a KO. So it has the attackers are all coming out looking this way, and your enemies are looking this, or your allies looking towards them. Basically, it's going to flash. You can pop the flash and flash all of the people coming out A main. So this is going to be really strong for stalling, or assisting your KO on site. So really, really powerful ability. It also, they don't show it here, but from what I read, it also has the ability, has an alternate fire, right? So its secondary purpose is, let me actually erase these things here. So her secondary fire is that you can take it and not just put it on a wall. Apparently if you alt fire, it kind of goes through the wall, and so it will sit on like this inner wall. Or maybe we're sitting like A main and we want to throw it like over here. And so basically we can throw it like through one wall, and it will hit and hang on the other side. Now it will probably take a second, just like a Cypher Cam, to set up and kind of go into stealth. So you probably can't just like instantly throw it through like a Breach Flash does. So you probably have to let it kind of come through the wall, set, and then be able to flash. But overall, really nice signature ability, and as you see, you only get one, but it is reusable. So this is her C ability. So as we see, you basically place them down. Realistically, her C ability is just KJ mollies. So there's really not a whole lot to say. They basically slow you and damage you as you walk through them. For the most part, I'm thinking, as of right now, it's pure speculation, as I haven't seen actual gameplay outside of this, is that it's just going to be Killjoy mollies, the same idea. They're going to be invisible after you place them down. More than likely, they'll make noise, just like Killjoy mollies when you get close to them, so you can destroy them, probably. but when you activate them, it slows and does damage. So placing them here, like on on the lane, would be really, really nice for making or contesting this lane push. But other than that, this is like I would see the most standard ability in my head. But very cool visuals. I like the visuals a lot. So that is her Q ability. Apparently it is called Shear. This is an indestructible wall, and as you see, it is a like pressure plate activated wall. So you throw it down, and it kind of has this little slit here, and this is a slight visual indicator, so I believe the jet can also see this trip. It's not like invisible to the jet, but after you walk over it, it activates. This wall is indestructible, so her teammates cannot help her by destroying this wall, and now the jet is forced in kind of this 1v1 way. Now, some people I read, are saying like, oh, this ability seems broken, but realistically, one, the wall only lasts a few seconds. So it's not like Sage's wall, so it doesn't come up and then just sit and then, like a minute or like 30 seconds later breaks, or like a deadlock barrier. It basically pops up, stays for maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and then it just goes away. It's also no different from a Killjoy Molly on like the A main rush or a B rush. So if the jet dashes out, KJ pops her Molly, and then her team is stuck behind her. Little teammates here. The teammate's stuck behind her because they can't push the Molly. And so it's the same idea here, right? You put a trip basically, and then the wall procs, and it forces the jet into a 1v1 situation. So it's not any stronger than a Killjoy Molly or a Cypher trip in my opinion. I know some people are already overreacting because it's like, well, it's indestructible. Yeah, but it's only indestructible for like 2 seconds. So, let's put these guys aside. So we see for her abilities on defense, she is a Sentinel, so she is defense-oriented. So she's obviously going to be very strong. We have the Flash to stop the Flood. We have her Trip to stop, forcing that 1v1 fight. We have her Killjoy Mollies. And then, of course, her ultimate with stopping people from using their weapons. Overall, she does look really, really nice. Some people were upset that she doesn't have a quote-unquote trip for the flank, but I think the wall could be used as a trip, right? So suppose we have our Cypher and Killjoy, or no, Chamber and Jet. And so suppose we want to have our little B hit. So Cypher decides to go ahead and trip the tiles push, and maybe the enemy Killjoy, let me move this way, decides to flank out, right? Flank out and hits the trip, right? So by this point, all of us, she dashed on site, we flood out, we support her, yada, yada, yada. Let me erase this one. Eraser, please. Thank you. So the Killjoy comes out, and even though you can't like capitalize and kill this Killjoy after the strip, you still know she's there. And I think the same thing can be done, or it seems like the same thing can be done with the wall, right? You put the little visual indicator down, and then the moment the Killjoy runs past it, the wall comes up. And the Killjoy either has to wait 2 seconds for the wall to come down and she runs back to mid, or she just commits to the flank. So I think on attack, using the wall as a trip would be really beneficial. Now this is, like I said, pure speculation. So maybe we'll see the wall as a trip, or maybe we'll see the wall used more in post plants. Because I can also see it on A. Suppose you get up here and you put the wall in heaven, and then someone tries to peek out and they trigger the wall, and now this person is stuck for 2 seconds while your teammates get to shoot them in the face. So deciding which one's going to be more useful, it really probably comes down to just like the round you're playing, but I think that we could definitely use the wall as a trip, and I think that's going to be very interesting to kind of see if we use it more as a trip or a post plant tool. Overall, her plant things, like her Killjoy Mollies, realistically, I think are the most basic part of her kit. You use them as Killjoy Mollies. Like, I don't really think there's a whole lot you can do with them. I suppose if you do use the wall as a trip, you could put one in front of it. And so the Killjoy, when she flanks out, has to take a little bit of damage. And it kind of almost stops her, I would say, from retreating back because it would take too much damage. So you kind of force her to have to kind of wait both of these things out and then run back. Or she just has to hard commit to the flank. Maybe that's something you can do on the attack to really kind of mix it up. But these really, on defense, are just Killjoy Mollies. I can't really say anything too much about her C ability, because it just, in my head, I can't think of anything really creative to do with it. And maybe that's just maybe I'm just not thinking with portals, maybe there's some really cool stuff you can do with that. But I think her wall and flash are very interesting. The flash, I think, is going to be super strong on stall utility. Has a right now on Ascent, and I'm going to just stay with this map. Typically, Omens will play A, and they will use their blinds. So I don't know. I still think Omen's really, really strong here. I don't think she will replace her, because typically people play Sentinels B on this map. But definitely having maybe a different map of just having this, and I'm using my Cypher Cam as the flash here, has a stall tool would be really, really strong, especially since your teammates are going to be looking this way, and so they won't be flashed by you, unlike like a KO flash or something. For attack, I don't think it's going to be a super useful tool. Because like I said, you have to throw it through the wall, and you probably have to let it set up for like 1 or 2 seconds. So people can probably see you kind of, throw it through this wall, and then the Jet will see it if she's defending, and she will just kind of shoot it. Because I don't think you can instantly proc it like a Breach Flash, because that would be a little too strong in my opinion. But I do think for defense, I think the Flash is going to be really strong. And if you're playing against a bad team and they do let you get off these kind of mini Breach Flashes, I do think it's going to help enter onto site. Or you can also use it the same way like a Cypher kind of flashes with a cam, to where you kind of just put it out, and then the person, maybe you have a Killjoy playing stairs, they have to break their crosshair placement, which is maybe they stop looking here and they look here to break the flash, and then Jet kind of can dash out. Excuse me. That's also a possibility. Overall, I think the Flash is more strong in defense, which makes sense. We know Vyse is a Sentinel, so I think the Flash is going to be really, really strong. I don't know what map she's going to be strong on yet. I'm just kind of using a scent to keep my speculations here. But, like I said, the Flash on attack is kind of eh. The mollies on attack also are kind of eh, because unlike Killjoys, you have to place them, and I don't know the range. Oh, maybe you kind of lob them. Maybe it's not a place, maybe it's kind of like an arc. That's interesting. So maybe you can throw them. On attack, once again, they're Killjoy mollies. So basically what you're going to do with them, as my speculation, is... Let me get these fuckers out of here. And Cypher's Twin. Alright, my speculation is you're basically going to use them as Killjoy mollies, or pretty much every other molly. So from Phoenix... No, that's a curveball. So Phoenix molly or Viper molly. You're going to use these things to either stop people from coming into the fight, or slow them from coming into the fight, or you want to use them to clear angles. Maybe you think, or there's a guy hiding here. Hello. Being a bit of a rat. Well, then you want to throw the molly and force them to take damage, or force them to... Bro, I am not that good at this. Okay. Force that player, force the Jet to have to swing out and fight you, or tie to your molly. So that's kind of how I see these kind of mollies happening on attack. For defense, they're, like I said, Killjoy mollies, so I imagine you're just going to use them in place of a regular Killjoy molly. Like, this lane push out's going to be really hard. Her wall ability, once again, is used for a stall, so same thing with Killjoy mollies. Basically, if the Jet dashes out, the wall comes up, you can fight the Jet for free. Now, this wall, I believe, is not, it is indestructible, but I think you can, like, stand on top of it. So if they have, like, a double, entry comp, like, Raze can probably get on top of this, or Omen can probably teleport on top of this. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea, as their whole team's going to be looking at the wall shooting them, but it is... I don't think it's insurmountable depending on your team comp, but it serves the same function as a Killjoy molly, as, forcing the Jet into this bad situation to where she has to take this 1v1. But overall, I think she looks really, really interesting. I think I definitely am excited to play her. I think I'm way more excited to play her than I was when Clove came out. I saw Clove and I was like, Clove's kind of cool, but Vyse is definitely something that looks really, really interesting. Of course, I am a Cypher main, so more Sentinels I'm always down for. But that's my speculation. Those are her abilities. Make sure if you haven't already seen it on Reddit, you can go ahead. I will link this down below in the video. Go ahead and give it a watch. Go ahead and let me hear what you guys think, and have a nice day.